joyous and peaceful holiday season.
We've had an amazing year here at Supernatural Silver. We've truly enjoyed the fantastic response from thousands of people as they've tried our extraordinary product, and we're thrilled at the life-changing results people have. Our company email is continually full of happy, satisfied customers who thank us for the help they've received from Supernatural Silver. This holiday season, as you think of gifts to give your loved ones, consider giving Supernatural Silver, a gift that can help provide good health and wellness, a gift that can change lives and make a real difference. In a world where we are constantly exposed to dangerous health threats, give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. Give Supernatural Silver. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HOLIDAY2015 for 20% off. And this holiday season, we wish you and yours the blessings of peace and good health from all of us here at supernaturalsilver.com.
Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Who do we have? Trevor, who do we have on the line right now? Doris in California. Doris, I apologize. Go ahead, please.
Oh, that's okay. There was another disconnected thing that a Canadian government was trying to buy all the water rights company down up in Apple Valley, which is there's a big aquifer under there. They were going to increase the cost of the water. It's kind of a desert area, so anyway, I just sounded like what you were talking about. It sounded like it was going to be hitting us pretty hard.
I'm sure it's all over the country. All right, thank you very much for the phone call. Let's go to Mayat in New York. Mayat in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, with Rosa Corey.
Good morning, Rosa. I love your work, and thank you for not using the G word for the search engine. My question...
Cute. Go ahead.
My question concerns a recent call, I think yesterday. Gentleman mentioned ICLEI, and he also tied it into something that's been going on with the so-called Adult Protective Services, Social Services Agency. He mentioned kidnap, taking the property of a vulnerable elder, and it's usually an early death. And so since you mentioned totalitarianism, my question is, have you done any research? Because it's also a court scheme.
Okay, let me get an answer for you, because I've got Jim in West Virginia who I need to get on. But
yes,
go ahead, please.
certainly.
Your response to Mayat?
Yes, that's right. The Department of Justice has community-oriented policing, which is part of this plan. All these plans relate, everything that you're seeing that restricts your ability to be free is part of this plan. And, of course, the judicial system is... We have a lawsuit going to fight the regional plan in our area, and I'll tell you, of course, if you've had any involvement in the judicial system, you see that that we have lost control of our laws.
Okay. Let me go to Jim in West Virginia, a victim of ICLEI. Go ahead, please, Jim.
Oh, yes. I got hit with the International Property Maintenance Code, IPMC, which is part of it, in 2006. The only way I could fight it was took it to the Jerry Brownfield International Shortwave Radio Show. Within 2.5 hours, somebody in the state of West Virginia contacted me through third party and asked me how soon I could get out. My life changed ever since then. It's been not very good.
Okay, slow down just a little bit.
Okay, now it's been my experience
The International Building Codes, they're part of a whole package of codes that are all across the world. And this is a way, as I said, globalization is the standardization of all systems.
Okay.
And that is the goal, is to standardize all laws locally across the world.
Okay, now, it's been my experience. As a result of this, I've been a magnet for this information. I did a show with Joyce in 2009. Eminent domain pales in comparison besides the IPMC, International Property Maintenance Code. It amazes me. It looks like, to me, it's the second or third worst scam in U.S. history on paper. They are rolling it out more and more as tax revenues are decreasing in various jurisdictions. it amazes the daylights out of me. It's been on the books since 2015, and nobody seems to be hardly aware of it. It doesn't matter whether you own or rent. They are trying to run people off the land. That's a definition of war. But, I mean, it amazes me because a lot of times patriots won't even say International Property Maintenance Code. If you look it up, you'll see what it is.
International Building Codes, this is all part of it. And you look at your city council, look at your planning department, they have those codes. They're implementing them now. This is part of the United Nations Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, to actually make it so that all laws are the same across the world.
Wow. Rosa Koire, thank you so much for joining us today. The book is Behind the Green Mask. She explains it all, ladies and gentlemen. The UN Agenda 21. Thank you, Rosa, for joining us in the Power Hour today.
Thank you, Joyce.
You bet. Wow, it's been a short day. It's been a really short day today. I thank you all for joining us. I know you're glad you tuned in. It's all about the truth. You all have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, bless you all. And we love you at the Power Hour. We'll see you tomorrow.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
KCAA invites you to listen to professional money manager Bill Gunderson every weekday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. Bill Gunderson is a highly respected money manager. He's a regular contributor to MarketWatch, TheStreet.com, and Town Hall Finance. Gunderson has appeared many times on the Fox News Channel, the Fox Business Network, and CNBC. You can hear Bill Gunderson's daily insight into the market at 7 a.m. weekdays, right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
This is 1050 AM, KCAA Loma Linda, and 106.5 FM, Yucaipa.
Stock futures are in the red. There are just 4 trading days left in the year, and Wall Street will need every one of them to be up to make stocks positive for the year. The markets could get a boost from the latest reading on retail sales out this morning. MasterCard Advisor Spending Pulse says strong online sales and demand for furniture and women's clothing helped U.S. retail sales grow by a solid 7.9% this holiday season. Online sales rose 20%. FedEx wasn't able to deliver all its packages in time for Christmas. This is because of a surge in online shopping and bad weather in parts of the U.S. Shoppers had more money in their pockets this Christmas. AAA puts the average price of a gallon of regular gasoline at $1.99 nationwide. This is the first time gas prices have fallen below $2 since 2009, saving Americans $115 billion at the pump. John Lesher, CNBC Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Meh in the Morning with C-list guests, boring callers, and that one song we keep playing. Brought to you by the same old breakfast muffin sandwich. It doesn't get more meh than this. Trust me.
Move on from meh mornings. Try the Breakfast Crunch Wrap from Taco Bell. Stuffed with scrambled eggs, bacon, and melted cheddar cheese, plus a whole crispy hash brown, wrapped up and freshly grilled in a warm tortilla. The Breakfast Crunch Wrap. It's more of a meal than a muffin. Wake up, live Moss. At participating locations served during breakfast hours.
It's Macy's After Christmas Sale. Save 25% on dazzling social dresses at our biggest social event of the season. Designer underwear for him. Buy one, get one 50% off at our biggest underwear sale of the season. Plus, buy 2 bras, get 2 free from Bally, Maidenform, and more. Save 30 to 50% on bed and bath at our biggest white sale. And get designer coats for her 50% off. Macy's After Christmas Sale. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
With your Monday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. Here's what's happening. A teen shot and 3 others arrested after the foursome reportedly tried to rob a San Bernardino liquor store Christmas afternoon, but were confronted by an armed business employee. Employees inside that business shot a teen, striking one after the duo allegedly brandished the firearm demanding money. 2 ran out of the liquor store and into a waiting car, then drove off. The 4 later located and arrested by Colton police officers. They face multiple charges. The crew of experts trying to stop a massive gas leak above Porter Ranch reached a milestone yesterday when it was able to locate the stricken well more than 3,000 feet underground. Technology being used via a relief well. Technology creates a magnetic field underground, which enables workers at the service to find targets about 7 inches in diameter. It's the same technology used during the Deepwater Horizon offshore drilling platform disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. Riverside County authorities trying to identify a man and woman who perished in a Christmas night fire. CAL FIRE says the first responders on a single-story home in nearby Good Hope involved in flames. The victims trapped. Firefighters prevented from rescuing them. 2 bodies found when the flames extinguished. Damage to the home on Ellis Avenue extensive. Cause of the late-night fire under investigation. Firefighters managed to keep 2 separate wind-driven fires in the foothills above San Bernardino. The Waterman fire first reported in Waterman Canyon just before 12:30. About 30 minutes later, officials began receiving reports of a second fire in Devil's Canyon. Firefighters able to put out those flames. The good news, there were no injuries there. I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. I'm Brandon McCormick with the traffic. In Corona, a carpool lane is blocked on the 91 westbound at Green River Road. Corona 91 west past Green River Road, a wreck blocking the carpool lane. The driver is slammed from the 215. Rialto, off-ramp blocked on the 210 westbound at Alder Avenue, exit 68. Lake Elsinore, accident blocked at the 15 southbound at Indian Truck Trail. And finally, Lake Elsinore 15 south past Indian Truck Trail, a 3-car smash-up against the center divider. This has been your KCAA traffic. Stay safe. I'm Brennan McCormick.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. Well, this morning we've got a frost advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Chance of showers, mostly sunny skies and a high near 54 today. Tonight, a chance of showers, patchy frost, mostly cloudy skies with a low near 37. Patchy frost in the morning, sunny skies, high near 58 on Tuesday. Tuesday night, mostly clear, low near 40. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 63. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low near 40. Thursday, sunny with a high near 66. Thursday night, mostly clear, New Year's Eve, a low near 41. Sunny on New Year's Day with a high near 63. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 40. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Happy, 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 happy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now it might sound crazy what I'm about to say. The sunshine just here, you can take a break. No,
I'm a hot air balloon, I could go to space. Yeah, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Oh, because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that.
Give me all you got and don't hold it back. No, 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 yeah.
Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Fine.
No offense to you, but don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you
Good morning. Good morning. This is Tobin Brinker. Aaron will be joining me in just a second. Welcome to KCAA's On the Brink, the morning show, 10:50 a.m. and 106.5 FM. We've got a great show for you this morning. It's freezing cold out there on a Monday morning, and we're running a little late getting into the studio, but we're excited to be here. This is going to be one of those interesting shows today. Christmas holidays really was a lot of fun, but hard to get back to the grind after you have a couple fun days with family, right, Aaron?
Absolutely. Ooh, yeah, my mic is hot. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, sorry running a little bit late this morning. Woo! Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas weekend and got wonderful presents and ate too much and watched some football and went to a movie and did all those wonderful things.
I'm wearing one of my presents. I have a hat on that has lights on it. Brandon can attest. You push the button and it lights up, then now I can run at night. This is my fun running hat.
Awesome. Now, did you play the intro for CSUSB today?
No, actually, I couldn't. The link did not work.
Oh, no.
Bummer. Okay, we'll have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, because this is Cal State San Bernardino's 50th anniversary.
Yes, and yeah, so it's a big deal. Lots of stuff going on, and we're the show is partnering with the university to help get some publicity out, and so we did a special. We recorded a special intro, and we can play that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday, one or the other. So some great stories today. Lots of stuff going on in the city of San Bernardino, and Tobin, why don't you take the lead on that?
Well, I will take the lead on that as soon as I'm ready to.
Right. All right. Well, there was a big event this weekend. There were a couple of big events commemorating the what happened on December 2nd.
One of the events I actually attempted to go to, but it was so packed.
It was the Beer Fest, right?
The Beer Fest. Hangar 24 put on a beer fest, and I have to tell you, that place was packed. Absolutely packed. We got there later in the afternoon. It was going on pretty much all day long. And by the time we got there, I mean, they had cars parked like a half mile away, people trying to walk to get up in there, and it was just crowded, filled with people. And we kind of did the drive-by and had a conversation about whether or not we were going to fight that crowd, and decided against it, and decided that we would go be festive somewhere else, but we would make a contribution to the fund, which is being handled by the who's handling the fund again, Aaron? It's we had him on the show. I'm just blanking on the group that's handling the fund for the survivors.
Oh, it's the United Way, the Arrowhead United Way.
Arrowhead United Way. Thank you. I don't know why I blanked on that. I do not know why I blanked on that. But yeah, the Arrowhead United Way has the fund for the survivors and the family members, and so we're trying to work with them.
Yeah, because they're. Each one of the survivors has a GoFundMe account or something similar to raise money for themselves, and some of them are raising lots of money. I think the Wetzlers have raised a lot of money, and then others have raised less money because maybe they don't know as many people. Maybe they just, the Wetzlers gain media attention because I think they have 6 kids, and so the thought of their breadwinner being killed at work when they have 6 kids tugs at the heartstrings. But all of their stories are compelling, and of course they're all human stories.
Yeah.
And so the United Way the Arrowhead United Way here in San Bernardino is collecting money for the victims, and they're not taking any percentage of that for themselves. This is something that they're just doing because they want to.
And frankly, I feel more secure giving money to a group like United Way, which I know is going to make sure the money goes to the right people, as opposed to some of these GoFundMe accounts, which I have a concern that just anybody could set that up and say, oh, it's in the name of.
Well, I have that concern too.
And so I just, unless I actually know that person and know that it's actually going directly to them, I'm not sure I'd give to a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. That makes me a little nervous as well. So Tobin and I are Gen Xers. We're Generation Xers. We were, which I think born between 65 and 81 or something. And we were both born in that window. And there's an article in The Sun from this weekend that the Gen Xers have become the sandwich generation. Amy Wyatt sat at her dining table on a recent afternoon, pondering middle age and swirling economic and familial changes that have shaped her life. I'm still trying to find my way, she said. Wyatt just moved to Carson after losing her house in Long Beach in the process of a divorce and working a part-time job while looking for permanent work. She is 42, rearing 2 children, and like so many other in her age bracket, has been sharing her abode with a parent. Wyatt's mother moved in with her a few years ago after mortgage and other business ventures collapsed during the Great Recession. It's a story told by many Gen Xers, defined as those born between 65 and 84, who find themselves in midlife and squeezed on both sides by family responsibilities. 4 in 10 Gen Xers have children under 18 living in their house, and about 25% have a parent or other relative living in their house, according to a 2015 Planning and Progress media study released by Northwestern Mutual. Wyatt says she's seen a lot of people her age struggle through the middle years of life who are just happy enough at work and just happy enough in their relationship, but not necessarily thriving. I have very few friends who are settled or love what they do, she said. According to Northwestern Mutual, nearly 40% of Gen Xers say they do not at all feel financially secure, more than any other American generation alive. 23% are not at all confident that they will achieve their financial goals, with 2/3 expecting to have to work past the traditional retirement age, and I would count myself in that boat.
Yeah.
At home, parents like Wyatt struggle to understand the world in which their kids are living. She said her son Jackson, who is 6 years old, can maneuver his way through around an iPad better than she can. And Wyatt worries about social media and pitfalls, especially how easy it makes bullying. During a homework break, Natasha Wyatt, her 15-year-old daughter, talked about explaining to her mother the various apps available on her smartphone. Kids at school typically use several social media apps that function similarly, and she always asks Mom if she can download them. They had a disagreement over Snapchat recently. The messaging app allows users to send short videos, photos, or messages to each other's phones, but they disappear in a matter of seconds. I don't like that. There's no record, Amy Wyatt said.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that boat. And our kids are older. We a lot of people in our generation waited to have children. We did not.
Yeah.
We had them in our early to mid 20s. But it's a different world than the one that we grew up in.
Very different. And that Snapchat one, I have to tell you that one's so scary because the kids think that it disappears so quickly. So they do things that they think, won't get them in trouble because it's going to disappear.
Right.
But then they do get them in trouble because they'll do like the naked pictures or whatever thinking it's going to disappear.
But you can take a screenshot and then it's not going to disappear.
Exactly. And predators use this stuff. There's just so many creepy things that we have to worry about as parents today that the technology is just created and changed. And yeah, it's a much different environment.
Yeah, the article goes on to say that that Gen Xers feel less settled and are less likely to have a plan for the future. And that bothers me because it makes it sound like it's Gen Xers' fault that they have, that they're less optimistic. And to some extent, maybe it is. But the other side of it is Gen Xers have grown up with divorce, with, broken families, with, a tough job market when we graduated from college.
Gen X is the most aborted generation in the history of the world, of America.
Yes.
It is the most incarcerated generation in the history of America. We were the ones who were the latchkey kids growing up. There's just a whole bunch of things that happened to the kids of our generation.
Yes.
And to now come back and sort of blame these long-term societal issues on this generation is like totally pouring salt on the wounds.
Yes.
And saying, you created your own misery when in fact from the time our generation was born, there were a whole bunch of societal changes going on that just really kind of messed over our generation.
Well, if you look at the kids that were born in the mid 80s,
yeah.
Like 85 and on, they had the whole culture surrounding childhood was different. And so it's time to take a break, and we'll talk about this on the other side.
Yeah.
It's 6:16. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda. Hey folks, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. Maybe you've heard me talk about buysellmakeoffer.com on my internet radio station, Beatlesarama.com. Well, I'm here to fill you in on this enormously revolutionary way to sell your products online. You just need to forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over, and then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They never charge you item fees. We just need your email address so we can let you know well in advance of the launch when you can load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Just think of it as Craigslist on steroids. Using our resources along with Skype and videos, you just add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building toward our January 15th launch date. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
And now it's time for another Support San Bernardino Spotlight.
Hi, my name is George Hahn. I am the Senior Minister at the Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. In the next few weeks, we would like to support San Bernardino by highlighting the outstanding things about our city. Today's program features
Dennis Baxter from Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you, George. I'm very proud that Habitat for Humanity San Bernardino area has been serving the residents of the area since 1992, so that's 24 years of building homes and building hope. Each partner family participates in our own curriculum in the greater San Bernardino area that provides guidance and resources to a successful long-term experience as being a homeowner. We have financial literacy classes that they go through so they understand the difference between being a homeowner and being a renter. Our Brush with Kindness program helps out low-income folks with, simple chores around the house. And, of course, our Restore, located in Redlands, is a real part of our fundraising effort. So it's building homes, it's building hope. Folks can give us a call at 909-478-1176 or habitatsb.org.
This program was underwritten by Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. If you would like information about today's program, please contact me, Reverend George, by calling 909-883-7171. That's 909-883-7171.
Hi, this is Steve Aladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. This may be the perfect time to move forward with a new purchase. The feds have not yet increased short-term rates. When they do, we expect both rates and property values to increase. Today, you have an opportunity to qualify for a lower payment and more home than potentially even just a few months down the road. If you have VA eligibility, we can do up to 100% financing. We have loans with as little as 3.5% down, less than 20% down without mortgage insurance. Turned down because you can't qualify with your tax returns? We have special programs that we can use your assets to qualify you, and we have just come out with a bank statement program. If you can't qualify with your tax returns, but can show income through your bank statements, we might have a loan program just for you. There are many possible options that can make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner. Give me a call, Steve Aladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
Here's a look at the community calendar. I'm Carlos Gonzalez. The city of San Bernardino invites you to take advantage of Free Dump Day. If you haven't wanted mattresses, appliances, tires, electronics, or shrubs to get rid of, mark the last Saturday of each month on your calendar. You must provide proof of residency with your driver's license or utility bill. No hazardous or construction materials will be accepted. To find out the times and places for Free Dump Day, Google City of San Bernardino calendar. If you're looking for something fun, interesting, and free to do, the City of San Bernardino History and Railroad Museum is open every Saturday from 10 till 3. Schedule a group tour by calling 909-888-3634 and learn some fascinating firsts about San Bernardino. That number again, 909-888-3634. And that's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Carlos Gonzalez.
KCAA is your CNBC News affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. It is a cold Monday morning following Christmas. And just a few more days till we wave goodbye to 2015. And this later this week we'll be doing our reminiscing, as you always do at the end of the year. And are prognosticating about what we think will happen in 2016.
Yes, and making New Year's resolutions that we break within a week.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it'll be interesting. I think we should definitely do this. Every year there's a list, and we'll go back to what we were talking about before in just a minute, but every year there's a list of days that the conspiracy theorists will say will be the end of the world, or something cataclysmic will happen. Every time that date passes with nothing happening, they readjust the date, and it's a new cataclysm.
Well, my friends who are like far left Democrats believe that election day, if Trump is the candidate, will be the cataclysm. So.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. They do believe that. But there was supposed to be like a comet that hit us. There was supposed to be, all kinds of crazy stuff that was supposed, huge earthquakes to rattle the whole world and blah, blah, blah. And most of this stuff you can find on YouTube. And as you know, and I've made no secret of this, I find conspiracy theory videos to be absolutely entertaining and fascinating.
Yes.
So, but anyway, back to Generation X. So, and some of the pessimism that they have, there's talk by, okay, of course it's the baby boomers are critical of everybody but themselves. So let's be honest. No offense to the baby boomers, but they really do. They are critical to everybody that's not themselves.
Yes.
So the Gen Xers, they were the most we are the most aborted generation. We are the most incarcerated generation. I think about the big financial cataclysms that happened as we were growing up. 1987, that crash happened that was impactful because it happened as many Gen Xers were entering the workforce.
Yeah.
Then we had, at least in this area, with the base closure in San Bernardino and up in the high desert with George Air Force Base and Norton Air Force Base, that was cataclysmic for us trying to find jobs because it really destroyed the economy in these two regions, the high desert and in San Bernardino. Then we had the Great Recession, and I'm not saying that we're victims, we're not, but it's been our reality. We did not grow up with the optimism that the baby boomers did, in the 50s and 60s when the economy was growing.
Yeah, no, one of the general characteristics of Gen X is a very sort of cold, hard rationalism, very realistic worldview that says, the world is rough and you better, work hard to prepare yourself and, take your lumps and, and so
it's almost fatalistic.
It is, and there's no really messing around. The millennial generation that comes after Gen X has been quite pampered by comparison.
Yes.
And they got the ones when they were being born. We had the baby on board signs, and the movies all shifted. So we went away from the movies that we grew up with.
When we were kids, Rosemary's Baby was one of the movies that was popular, and we grew up at a time when there weren't a lot of the Disney movies, and there weren't a lot of the other kind of movies that were positive for kids. I mean, we had some Disney, but leftover stuff from earlier generations, but we didn't have. It really wasn't until The Fox and the Hound and some of the ones that came right after that Disney movies started coming out prolifically. You had The Lion King and you had The Little Mermaid and you had all of these others, but we didn't have that growing up like they do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know if Brandon. So Brandon and I switched microphones here. I don't know if you got that for the sound.
Yeah, this one seems to have conked out mid show.
But the millennials, the movies that came out for them were very sort of embracing of childhood and youth, young heroes. And so they get a very different sort of cultural model that they grew up with, and we got the helicopter parents and all this, and so
even if you look at the movie E.T., which shows two Gen Xer kids, mom was working, kids were home alone all day, even the little one, home alone all day, home alone in the evening, talking about subject matter that was very mature. Remember the scene where they're eating the pizza, and it's indicative of a very, very different upbringing.
Yeah. And so, it's just a very different, and so each generation sort of has its own sort of cultural identity. And I have shared with you that at the middle school level now, every kid in my middle school is no longer a millennial. We haven't named the new generation yet. I believe they're going to pick September 11th 2001 as the starting date for this new generation, because I really feel like something changed culturally for us on that day. There's America before September 11th, and there's America after. And so every kid in my school today was born after September 11th, and they're culturally different. I can tell you that the kids that are in the classroom are different than the kids I had just a couple of years ago. They're a lot more emotional. I've had a lot more kids that are sort of crying in classroom in middle school. And usually by middle school, you don't have that much of kids crying in
Especially
class.
in boys.
Especially boys, but I've had boys crying as well. They seem to be a lot nicer. And I don't know how to describe that except just to say that they're just extremely polite. Very, millennials were much more likely to sort of talk back, which is a normal kind of behavior in middle school. I felt like the kids I had a few years ago were a little bit harder, had a harder exterior shell, that they were tougher. The kids I have today are they're just friendlier, they're more polite.
A little softer.
A little softer, And so it's going to be very interesting to see what this next generation gets called and sort of what their experience is. But I think they've grown up even more coddled sort of post 9/11.
Yeah.
Right? Hold your kids tight.
The bubble wrap generation.
The bubble wrap generation. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we're going to call them, the bubble wrap generation.
That's derogatory, though.
It is. I mean,
and they're sweet and kind, and that's a good thing.
Well, and who knows? They may harden themselves up here real quick. The world that we live in can be a dangerous place. I mean, growing up with the Paris attacks and the recent attack here in San Bernardino, if your childhood is filled with stories of attacks, and it just begins to change you, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
You get a very different view of the world.
So let's break a little bit early. It's 6:28. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
California headline news, a busy week on California roadways.
AAA is projecting a record-breaking 12.3 million California residents are going to be traveling over this holiday season. That starts on December 23rd and goes all the way through January 3rd.
Marie Montgomery with AAA says that's likely to be a record for the highest number of travelers in the state for that period. Thousands of travelers flying in and out of the state's busiest airports, some saying the traffic getting to the airport was the most difficult part.
I'm fortunate that I'm not traveling very far tonight, but it's been a trek to get into the airport tonight. Pretty crowded. A lot of people traveling.
A traveler at LAX, winter storms in the middle of the country causing problems for many travelers experiencing flight delays or cancellations. A Southwest Airlines flight from Sacramento to Denver makes an unscheduled stop in Oakland. A pressurization problem forced the plane to divert. It was checked out and allowed to continue. Geico weather, cool conditions across the state, mostly dry up north. Chance for rain in the southern region. Jeff Scott, California News.
I'm feverish and stuffy, but I still see you checking out my sweet cough cloud. See, when I cough, I make a cloud of 3,000 droplets of saliva. Impressive, no?
No.
But your eyes say yes.
Ugh, cough clouds are sick. Take new Robitussin CF Max Severe. It delivers powerful relief of cough, sore throat, stuffy nose, and fever. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough. Use as directed.
Your favorite celebs are challenging you to change the world.
I challenge you to shave your head to fundraise for cancer research.
I challenge you to eat a hot pepper to raise awareness for global warming.
Whatever your cause, take a challenge and get it noticed. Download the We365 app for free and change the world one challenge at a time. Each download helps give goats to provide income to families in developing countries.
Get We365. Change the world every day.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between the 15 and Green River Road. The 71 south is busy between Euclid Avenue and the 91. In Corona, again, carpool lane blocked on the 91 westbound at Green River Road. The 91 west past Green River, a wreck is blocking the carpool lane. The drive is slammed from the 15. In Lake Elsinore, there's an accident. 2 lanes are blocked. This is a SIG alert on the 15 north before Main Street. The 2 right lanes are blocked by a crash. Traffic is backed up to Railroad Canyon. In Rialto, an off-ramp is blocked at the 210 westbound at Alder Avenue, which is exit 68. In Lake Elsinore, an accident at the shoulder is blocked on the 15 southbound at Indian Truck Trail. A 3-car smash-up is up against the center divider. And in Moreno Valley, the 215 northbound between Eastridge Avenue and Eucalyptus Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. The 60 west is busy between Day Street and the 215. I have to tell you that it's cold out there, and there's probably still some ice. Drive carefully. Watch out for black ice. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got a frost advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Chance of showers, mostly sunny skies and a high near 54 today. Tonight, a chance of showers, patchy frost, mostly cloudy skies with a low near 37. Patchy frost in the morning, sunny skies, high near 58 on Tuesday. Tuesday night, mostly clear, low near 40. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 63. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low near 40. Thursday, sunny with a high near 66. Thursday night, mostly clear, New Year's Eve, a low near 41. Sunny on New Year's Day with a high near 63. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 40. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper. Now in the IE.
This is KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Interesting article in National Review, and it's no secret for those of you all who read the National Review that they're not fans of Donald Trump.
Yep.
And you know, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he was a lifelong Democrat until he decided to run for Republican office, and they don't find him to be a credible candidate. And now they're saying this incessant clamoring by voters and punditry for better quote unquote leaders and more quote unquote leadership is one of the most unsavory, dangerous, and un-American tendencies in political discourse. When Donald Trump was asked last week by Joe Scarborough what he made of an endorsement from Vladimir Putin, a thug who's probably murdered journalists and political opponents and more, the GOP presidential frontrunner responded, "He's running his country, and at least he's a leader, unlike what we have in this country." Then he offered an incredibly dumb moral equivalency about how the United States does, quote-unquote, plenty of killing. There was plenty of well-earned criticism directed at Trump's comments. Most commentators were offended not because the Russians are being aggressively led, mind you, but because Putin does things we don't approve of. Perhaps if the Russian strongman used his muscle to tackle global warming, as the Chinese communists are pretending to do, the New York Times editorial page would praise him for his forethought and willingness to act. If Putin banned protests aimed at abortion clinics instead of Pussy Riot, how many progressives would cheer him? In contemporary American parlance, this and maybe it's always been this way. A leader typically describes someone who will aggressively push your preferred policy. How much do Americans really care about what this aggressiveness entails? Trump's entire case, for instance, is propelled by the notion that a single self-identified, competent, strong-willed president without any perceptible deference to the foundational ideals of the nation will be able to smash any cultural or political obstacles standing in the way of making America great again. But this is certainly not the first time we've seen voters adopt a cultish reverence for a strong-willed presidential candidate without any perceptible deference to the foundational ideals of the country, whose personal charisma was supposed to shatter obstacles standing in the way. making America great again. Many of the same people anxious about the authoritarian overtones of Trump's appeal were unconcerned about the intense adulation and adoring crowds showered on Barack Obama in 2008. Though the spectacle featured similarly troubling signs, the iconography, the messianic messaging, the implausible promise of government-produced comfort and safety, just as President Trump fans will enjoy every person every person on how nice or mean he or she is to Trump, so too those rooting against Obama were immediately branded unpatriotic or racist. One liberal. So what they're basically saying, and this is the title of the article, admit it, you just want your own dictator.
Yeah. Yeah, and they make some great points here. I'm going to continue on. It says, Obama's inevitable failure to live up to the hype has had many repercussions, and none of them are healthy. And so this is our warning for Trump as well. One, warning, liberal hypocrites who only a few years ago were lamenting how W's abuses had destroyed the republic now justify Obama's numerous executive overreaches because they correspond with liberal political aims. Obama's argument, and thus the contention of his fans, seems to pivot on the notion that the president has a moral imperative to act on his favored policies because the lawmaking branch of government refuses to do so. That is weird. This reasoning will almost certainly be the modus operandi for future presidents who are unable to push through their own agendas, which, considering where the country is headed, will be every president. Number two, other liberals, and maybe many of the same ones, argue that Obama hasn't done enough with his power, though the president is unwilling to lead, even if there are procedural or constitutional barriers for him to achieve what they demand. Too many Americans seem to believe that presidents can make laws if they just fight hard enough, and that these people now view checks and balances as antiquated and unnecessary impediments to progress. Number three, many one-time small government conservatives that are frustrated with the president's success and the impotence and corruption of their party, often a legitimate complaint, but often an overestimation of what politicians can accomplish, are interested in finding their own Obama, or what they imagine Obama is, which is to say a dictator. Not that the fetishizing of leadership is confined to the progressive left or the conservative right. In fact, more than anyone in American discourse, the self-styled moderate pundit loves to talk about leadership. It would be a full-time job cataloging how often a person will read about the nation's dearth of genuine leadership, which is, in essence, a call to ignore the democratic forces that make truly free governing messy and uncomfortable. There are entire conferences teeming with D.C. technocrats trying to figure out how the proletariat can be led to preferred outcomes and decisions. The moderates seem to believe that organic disagreements can be smoothed over by a smart speech or two, and they always mythologize about political leadership of the past.
But it's part of that has been this constant rhetoric about stopping gridlock and unifying the nation. Well, unity is a myth. Unity was not even built into the way our government was founded. They don't want it, and it's actually the way that our nation was founded creates that disunity that forces people to come to the middle to get anything done and compromise, and that's the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be messy.
Federalist Paper number 10, Aaron.
Oh yes, the one on factions.
The one on factions really explains how our government works, and it takes into account that people are self-interested, and that those interests change depending on what the focus is, and that we have a government that's designed to take all these different factions with all these different self-interested groups trying to sort of come together and create compromise to get things done. And our system is meant to work slowly and meant to only move forward when we get these kinds of compromises or find things that we can all agree on.
So we've had conversations about, and specifically we were talking about the people who are following Donald Trump. He can say nothing that will turn the followers off. It's cult-like, and it's cult-like because if you disagree with him on anything, they attack you, and they attack you personally, and act as if you're un-American, and that and then they'll start. Well, Barack Obama did that. So?
And you thought it was wrong when Obama did that, so why are you suddenly defending Trump when he's
exactly.
trying to do the same thing?
I'm tired of the, he started it argument. That's fine when you're for.
Well, and the everybody does it argument, too.
Which is also fine when you're for.
Yeah, and this is something that really seemed to come into political discourse back when Clinton was president, and has been sort of adopted by every president since then, to say, and it was, as soon as someone attacks something that your president's doing, they come out with a list of all the other people in the past who've done something similar.
Right. As if that makes it okay.
Yeah.
So
instead of arguing the merits of whether it was a good thing or not, well, everyone's done it. This president did it. That president did it. You know?
Yeah, the executive orders being the most glaring of those of that situation.
Yeah.
But if there is a political candidate, and I don't care if they're left or right or center, if there's a political candidate where their followers are demanding a reverence and an adherence to what they say that becomes messianic. And for both President Obama and Donald Trump, it like this article says, it moved in that direction fairly quickly.
Yep.
What you have is a cult of personality, and cult is the key word because cults demand absolute adherence to whatever the cult leader says.
One of the problems we have is I think that we have such ignorance of what our system is and how it really is intended to work. We don't have a government of men, although obviously people are the ones that are in those positions. We have a government of laws.
Right.
And the highest law is the Constitution. And if you go back even further than that to the Declaration of Independence, our laws and our rights don't come from men. They come from God or nature's God.
Right.
And so, the system breaks down when the focus becomes on the people instead of maintaining the system and the rights that we all enjoy.
Right. Well, and it's important that you said, whether it was God that you believe, a God that you believe in, or if it's just nature's God, the idea that rights were given to the people from someplace higher than ourselves. Because if we say that rights come from the state, well, the state can then take away those rights. They really become meaningless. But if the rights then come from a higher being or a higher authority, regardless of what you believe, what faith you have or don't have, that is something that can't be taken away on the whims of whoever is in office.
And the other nice thing about our fundamental belief that rights come from some higher source is that those rights don't just belong to me as a citizen. They belong to everybody.
Right.
So when we start talking about these issues with immigration and people talk, well, they're an illegal immigrant, well, guess what? Whether they're here legally or illegally, they're a human being, and those rights that you and I love and cherish so much belong to them too.
They do.
Because they weren't given to us by government. They're given to us by some higher authority.
And we can't stress that enough because progressives tend to want to move beyond the Constitution. But somebody who calls themselves a conservative and then behaves as if whole groups of people are not entitled to basic human rights. We're talking about freedom of assembly. We're talking about freedom of speech. We're talking about the ability to worship, however you want to worship. When conservatives start pulling those rights away from groups of people, that is really scary.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are supposed to be guarding the fundamentals of this nation, and they're not. The followers of Donald Trump and the people of his ilk are not.
Yeah. It's fascinating how this has evolved so quickly, too. I'm still of the opinion, though, that Trump is
flash in the pan?
It's a flash in the pan. That he's not going to survive this process for a wide variety of reasons.
Well, to bring up the most inflammatory example, and I realize this, nobody thought Hitler would get where he is.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of the same rhetoric. I mean, when he was coming to power, the final solution hadn't been born yet.
But the German political system was designed in a way that allowed someone like him to come in and take over. Ours is, again, designed for incremental change. And it would be very, very difficult for someone like Trump to, A, get into power, and B, then get enough people that support him to actually do the things that he wanted to do. So, you could basically turn over the whole German government in one election cycle. Ours would take 3 or 4 election cycles to get there. And there's just a whole bunch of structural things about
right.
the way our government's
It's
set
a
up.
parliamentary coalition government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, it's time for another break. Interesting discussion. I'd like to see follow-up articles from the National Review about this. I'm sure there'll be some blowback from all the Trump supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be entertaining to read. It's 6:45. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
Hey Di, do you know that many people have no idea that the Carousel Mall is actually open?
What? Do you tell them that that's where KCAA is located?
Of course, but there's more than just KCAA here.
Oh, I know. It's a totally great place for a girls' outing. Here at the Carousel Mall, there's Mega Beauty Supply.
And it's huge.
Yeah, the biggest beauty supply store I've ever seen. And they have wigs and extensions.
Then there's Backstreet Beauty Salon and Daniel's Jewelers, a store, by the way, for girls and guys.
Yes, and nail fashions where they do waxing and eyelash extensions. There's Lisa's Threading. You know, Mark, eyebrow threading is a big thing nowadays.
I do know about Mr. Yu's.
Yes, when you're ready for lunch, it's Mr. Yu's Chinese restaurant.
Best of all, Mr. Yu's is right next to KCAA.
Yes, all this located in the Carousel Mall, right off the 215, the 2nd and 3rd Street exit.
Come visit the Carousel Mall. We're open.
For more info, go to kcaaradio.com.
The Redlands Passenger Rail Project is going to happen. Get the information expressed on this story and more in the Redlands City News. Catch local stories posted online daily. The Redlands City News, online at redlandscitynews.com or in print at locations near you.
Are you thirsty for books that will fill your soul with wisdom, joy, and inspiration? Then take a refreshing and nourishing drink at Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore, located in the heart of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City, which incidentally was recently featured on The Today Show. From aromatic soy candles to best-selling authors like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and a whole host of other visionaries, Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore has everything to soothe your body, spirit, and soul. For more info and directions, visit agapelive.com today.
For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember, TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Pause Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, make sure to stop and pause a while, then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
Thank you, Inland Empire, for listening to KCAA Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Big article in the LA Times this weekend, actually today, Monday, December 28th, that the $374 headset, a $153 tape dispenser. Department of Children and Family Services faces fresh criticism over its spending. You know, when NASA spends $900 on an ashtray or whatever, you understand it because it's going into space, and they have special. It has to behave differently than it does here in the United States. It being the whatever it is they're purchasing.
Yeah,
but not so much in LA.
Yeah. No, and you know, I read this article, Aaron, and I totally get where the frustration comes from. You know, this is a services organization. They're supposed to be helping, you know, kids that have all kinds of special needs and you know, working with people like that. And instead of making sure the money's going directly to those functions, you know, these guys are getting some pretty posh accommodations, and that's going to upset some people.
The Department of Children and Family Services, which Los Angeles County auditors have criticized for poor fiscal oversight, is now facing questions about its spending practices, specifically its office equipment purchases. Among the items acquired in recent months, a $374 headset, a $153 automatic tape dispenser. Really? Because somehow picking up the little plastic dispenser and pulling out a piece of tape is too much effort?
Too much, Aaron. Too much.
Philip Browning, head of the department, said he has made equipment and technology upgrades a priority following years of neglect, outfitting caseworkers with iPhones, dictation technology, and ergonomically sound furniture makes them more efficient. And I would agree. that you know, that most of these social workers carry huge loads, and so in order to, so creating an environment that allows them to be more efficient is important, but it has to be balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be balanced. It's appropriate to keep employees safe and healthy, he said. We spend a huge amount of money on workers' comp, and we need to address that. According to the department records, the DCFS paid $348,000 in fiscal year 2014 for supplies and equipment. That amount more than doubled to $709,000 in fiscal year 2015. And in the first 4 months of the current fiscal year, the department spent $700,000 plus on equipment, more than similarly sized probation department did in the last 2 full years. A review of invoices by the Times showed that the DCFS bought the wireless office headsets when a comparable wired alternative was available for $20, a potential savings of more than $350 each. Officials say that the employees were not required to choose the most cost-effective products to meet their ergonomic needs. And if workers say they need an item to prevent injuries, department policy dictates that they probably will get it, even if the same product has been provided to the same worker before. No doctor's note is required. Of course, the people are going to. What's coolest?
Yeah.
I want the wireless one. That's cool.
Well, this next one, you just stopped reading before. This is funny. It says the variety of products available is vast. One employee requested and received a $153 electronic tape dispenser. Another record shows asked for a $49 doze alert. That's a device that wakes up someone who's drifted off, and their request was approved. So you put this in like you're telling your boss, I fall asleep at work, and I need this device to wake me up.
Well, don't you have an iPhone? Can't you set an alarm?
I just think that's hilarious.
So in a time when foster children and foster parents struggle to have their basic needs met, we should be buying solid, cost-effective office equipment, not some of the most expensive stuff on the market, said Aubrey Manuel, president of a foster parent association that has lobbied unsuccessfully for more money to be spent on reversing a critical shortage of foster homes. I think it's appalling that money meant to keep abused and neglected kids safe and improve their lives is instead being wasted on this stuff. Someone over there needs to use better judgment. I would agree.
So let me give you an idea of some things that I think are fairly common. I'm a public school teacher, and I have been for 20 plus years, right? I was an elected official, and in both instances, the office spaces that I've been given to use, in my classroom I have a desk. It's an old metal, like military surplus desk, and that's pretty standard for the teachers at my school. And of course, in our modern society, we all use computers.
Right.
Now, the modern computer desks have a special slide-out key thing for your keys, and it's a little bit lower so your arms can rest in a more natural, position. And the old metal desks aren't designed for that. And so, this is the kind of thing that we're dealing with. And here we are, we've had computers for most of that 20 years, but we're still using the same old desks. And a lot of people would say, hey, to be ergonomical and to help people out so you get away from
repetitive stress
injuries and things like that you should get proper desks. And we haven't. And the same thing when I was a city council person, we had these big desks from the 1970s that sit up really high, and the computer up there, and you're like typing up here, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's, the same sort of thing. And budgets are tight.
But I think the issue really isn't that they purchased equipment, but that they purchased ridiculously expensive equipment.
And they purchased the wrong thing.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing. You have this thing called the economies of scale.
Yep.
And so if you're buying, the people who are in charge should be making the decision about what kind of desks to buy, for example. And then they buy, 100 or whatever they need of that desk. And because they're buying so many, they can take advantage of reduced costs.
Yeah.
Nobody needs an electric tape dispenser. I'm sorry. You don't. How much tape are you using where you're going to get a repetitive stress injury from pulling out the Scotch tape?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, and the other thing, too, and this doesn't obviously apply to like tape dispensers, but to go back to my desk example, because we are in a public school setting and we have to worry about earthquake, and there's a very high standard. Everything has to be able to protect you.
Right.
Kids have to be able to climb under their desks. This is why we have these big heavy metal desks, because that'll protect you if something was to fall.
Okay, you honestly believe that the little bitty desks that you slide into for the kids is going to protect them?
We got rid of those. I mean, they've been transitioning out of those things.
Oh, you have tables now with 4 legs?
We have tables with 4. Well, I have tables with 4 legs, and even the quote unquote little itty bitty ones are built now very differently. It's not they're not.
Not like when we were kids.
These things are like solid. They are very solid. But yeah, I mean they've got a different standard, and that's why these things cost so darn much.
But we're not talking about a classroom.
We're not talking about a classroom. And I laugh, the tape dispenser and this doze alert. My goodness.
Good grief.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And this year, the LA County Auditor Controller criticized other DCFS fiscal practices, blaming poor inventory control for the loss of thousands of dollars in bus tokens meant for clients. Auditors found that the tokens had been left in open cabinets accessible to anyone in the office, and paper logs didn't show who had removed them. The tokens, auditors said, should be safeguarded in the same manner as cash to prevent theft or misuse. You think? According to Browning, ergonomics spending in earlier years might have been artificially low because fewer employees were assigned to interview staffers about what they needed to prevent workplace injuries.
Wow.
Wow.
A little worried about getting a tape injury.
Yes, yeah, because, I'm pulling out tape all day long and I'm going to get repetitive stress. Give me a break. Seriously. Give me a break. And somehow a wired headset is not ergonomically correct. What is it, an 80-pound wire?
No. The wire, the problem with the wire is that people go to move to do something in their desk space and the wire will pull their head.
So you get a longer wire.
Okay.
Instead of the wireless one, that's 3 times as much.
But the wireless one allows you to walk around the office and do other things while you're talking. That's why it's better. It's better, Aaron. It's better.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's not $350 better, but it's better. I mean, you can find wireless ones that aren't that expensive. They just obviously weren't shopping around. Or taking advantage, as you said, of economies of scale. Because when you go to the supplier and you say, I've got 10,000 employees and I need 10,000 of these things.
Yes.
Give me a deal.
They're going to give you a deal.
They're going to give you a deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're going to Office Max, walking around, or Office Depot. Office Max doesn't exist anymore. But walking around and saying, okay, I want that desk, and by the way, paying retail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And it sounds like that's kind of what they did. Like they let the employees sort of shop for themselves. They gave them a big shopping list.
Well, and as well as I do, the employees were like, ooh, I want to get this and I want to get this.
Yeah.
And, they thought they were on a spending spree.
We have a very basic supply list at my school. And your shopping is not that exciting. We don't get to make the big decisions.
See,
about
do
the
I
nice
want
stuff.
that ugly metal desk or do I want this ugly metal desk? They look like the old military issue ones.
You can get a waste bin or you can get a recycle bin. And that's it, Aaron. One is blue and one is gray, and they're basically the same thing.
Well, it's we're making fun, but the reality is there are not enough foster parents. And if the Department of Children and Family Services is wasting money, that's a problem because that's money that could be used to pay for services for kids in foster care, and they really need that care. They really need that service. Yeah. By the time somebody gets yanked from their family, something horrific is going on in that home.
Yeah.
So we are just about out of time. Did I just say good morning to Brandon this morning, and now we're into the show. I'm going to say good morning, Brandon.
Good morning.
He held the fort down for us this morning as I was scraping ice off my windshield. All right, it is 6:59. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
Have a wonderful Monday, everybody. We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Talk to you tomorrow.
Kcaa Loma Linda. CNBC News is next. Brought to you by BuySellMakeOffer.com. Go there now and join the thousands who have already signed up for a new and exciting way to buy and sell online, launching January 15th.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Santa Claus Rally? What's Santa Claus Rally? Stocks are poised to open lower this morning on sliding oil prices and concerned over the Chinese economy. Here at home, there's not much in the way of economic news today, but tomorrow, we'll get a look at consumer confidence and how home prices are faring. Santa made it on time, but FedEx didn't, the company failing to deliver all of its packages in time for Christmas. FedEx blaming unforeseen volume and severe weather. And severe weather has developed over the central portion of the country. Tornadoes, blizzards, and heavy rain resulting in the deaths of 20 people in 3 states, and more bad weather is on the way. And if you're flying, be sure to call ahead and give yourself extra time. Long lines have been reported at several airports this morning as a result of canceled flights due to the bad weather. Chris Maurer, CNBC Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Meh in the Morning with C-list guests, boring callers, and that one song we keep playing. Brought to you by the same old breakfast muffin sandwich. It doesn't get more meh than this. Trust me.
Move on from meh mornings. Try the Breakfast Crunch Wrap from Taco Bell. Stuffed with scrambled eggs, bacon, and melted cheddar cheese, plus a whole crispy hash brown, wrapped up and freshly grilled in a warm tortilla. The Breakfast Crunch Wrap. It's more of a meal than a muffin. Wake up with Moss. At participating locations served during breakfast hours.
It's Macy's After Christmas Sale. Save 25% on dazzling social dresses at our biggest social event of the season. Designer underwear for him. Buy one, get one 50% off at our biggest underwear sale of the season. Plus, buy 2 bras, get 2 free from Bally, Maidenform, and more. Save 30 to 50% on bed and bath at our biggest white sale. And get designer coats for her 50% off. Macy's After Christmas Sale. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
As our New Year's gift to you. Circle this date, Friday, January 15th. You're invited to start the new year off right with a subscription to buysellmakeoffer.com. Some other selling sites can be sketchy, and even others will charge you a fee on every item you list. But with buysellmakeoffer.com, you can sell your washer, dryer, cars, or even your home with no per-item fees. And you can use Skype, make a video. You can actually see the person you're buying from, or they can see you, all to better sell your product. Wouldn't you like a feeling of security when you buy or sell? That's why we call it buysellmakeoffer.com. And you don't have to wait until January 15th to find out what the buzz is all about. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and type in your email address so you'll know exactly when the fun will begin. The first 30 days are on us, and then it's as little as $7.95 per month to sell up to 50 items. Join the revolution in online selling with buysellmakeoffer.com.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between the 15 and Green River Road. The 71 south is busy between Euclid Avenue and the 91. In Lake Elsinore, there's an accident. The right lane is blocked. This is a SIG alert on the 15 north before Main Street. The right lane is blocked by a crash. Traffic is slow through the immediate scene. In Rialto, an off-ramp has been reopened on the 210 westbound at Alder. In Corona, an accident has been cleared on the 91 west past Green River Road. A wreck has been cleared from the carpool lane. The drive is still slow from the 15. In Lake Elsinore, an accident has been cleared on the 15 south past Indian Truck Trail. An earlier crash has been cleared from the center divider. In Moreno Valley, there's an object on the roadway on the 215 at Cactus Avenue. Several large boxes are in lanes. Use caution as you approach the scene. And finally, in Moreno Valley, there's slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Eastridge/Eucalyptus Avenue and University Avenue. The 60 West is busy between Day Street and the 215. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
This report has been brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council. Roughly 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year, but you can keep your family safer by cleaning with soap and water while preparing food. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
With your Monday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. Here's what's happening. Firefighters managed to keep 2 separate wind-driven fires in the foothills above San Bernardino. The Waterman fire first reported in Waterman Canyon just before 12:30. About 30 minutes later, officials began receiving reports of a second fire in Devil's Canyon. Firefighters able to put out those flames. The good news, there were no injuries there. Riverside County authorities trying to identify a man and woman who perished in a Christmas night fire. CAL FIRE says the first responders on a single-story home in nearby Good Hope involved in flames. The victims trapped. Firefighters prevented from rescuing them. 2 bodies found with the flames extinguished. Damage to the home on Ellis Avenue extensive. The cause of the late-night fire under investigation. The crew of experts trying to stop a massive gas leak above Porter Ranch reached a milestone yesterday when it was able to locate the stricken well more than 3,000 feet underground
Technology being used via a relief well. Technology creates a magnetic field underground, which enables workers at the surface to find targets about 7 inches in diameter. It's the same technology used during the Deepwater Horizon offshore drilling platform disaster.
Miss something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
He has been a professional money manager for the last 18 years. He is a regular contributor to the Fox Business Channel and Bloomberg Radio. In addition to this, he is a regular contributor to TheStreet.com and MarketWatch.com. Now he's live here on the Wall Street Business Network. Here is Bill Gunderson.
And welcome to the Monday morning, December 28th, live edition of the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with professional money manager Bill Gunderson. Well, we're back at it here. We have the markets are open right now, and the markets continue to follow oil prices.